A Gentleman in Moscow's political themes can often highlight some of the show's most emotional moments, and the heartbreaking scene from A Gentleman in Moscow Episode 3, The Last Rostov, is a great example of the formula working well. With Ewan McGregor's character's entire existence restricted to the walls of Moscow's Metropole Hotel, Count Alexander Rostov has had to find new ways to overcome the intermittent loneliness he's experienced so far. While Alexander's bond with Nina has been a welcome distraction, the divide between them in The Last Rostov is almost too much for the Count to bear. Although various members of the cast of A Gentleman in Moscow have proved vital in keeping Alexander sane during his unconventional incarceration, a new figure in The Last Rostov may be the most pivotal of all. The caretaker of the Metropole Hotel has the hobby of beekeeping, which is a conversation topic that keeps Alexander reasonably well distracted near the start of the episode, but the bees end up being a much more complex metaphor than they initially seem. The caretaker's bees in A Gentleman in Moscow reflect Alexander Rostov's situation. Abram's bees are vital in Alexander's journey. The bees in A Gentleman in Moscow Episode 3 have their usual pollen-gathering area destroyed during Moscow's transformation and are forced to adapt to the city's new layout. The subtlety of the moment is rather undercut by the bees usually frequenting Alexander Gardens, giving the honey a taste of lilac. With their usual stomping grounds gone, Abram, the caretaker, reveals the bees' queen is dead, theorizing that the bees must have turned on her. It happens when the colony's failing. The bees killing their queen is a powerful metaphor for the Bolsheviks executing Russia's ruling class during the country's revolution. Alexander's optimistic appraisal of the situation is, well, there's still honey. While this may be true, the honey will eventually run out without a queen. The limited honey could represent Alexander's emotional stamina as he has clung to what he can of his old way of life within the Metropole Hotel. In The Last Rostov, Alexander's time test routine huge blows. Not only does Nina start to turn on him, but Lepnevsky's wine label plot is a clear attempt to take the Count down yet another peg or two. Near the end of the episode, Abram intervenes during Alexander's suicide attempt by coaxing him to witness the return of the hive's working order. With the imperial gardens gone, the bees have instead harvested their pollen from near Alexander's old home, showing the striped insects have displayed resilience in adapting to Moscow's radical changes. The message is clear: Alexander Rostov can also overcome his recent obstacles. A Gentleman in Moscow's bees also give Alexander purpose. Alexander now has a daily responsibility. While Alexander has managed to carve out an existence in A Gentleman in Moscow, it's clear that the restrictions on his day-to-day life have left him bereft of any meaningful activity. While Nina's visits have given Alexander something to look forward to, and getting Anna's attention again has given him a goal, both instances aren't particularly consistent occurrences. As such, when Abram leaves the bees in Alexander's care, this gives the Count a daily task with real substance. Now, instead of having to fill his days with mindless busy work and finding new ways to keep things fresh, Alexander has an ongoing responsibility to keep the bees alive, which creates an artful parallel with the fact that the bees' resurgence against all odds is what contributed to keeping Alexander alive as well. The bees' new pollen being taken from near Alexander's old home also gives him a taste of the past.